Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the spoiler section for Star Wars: A Rogue One story. No, I got that the wrong way around, didn't I? Who cares? I'm too excited. I love this movie. I love this movie so much. Okay, let's talk about, first of all, obviously, yes, spoiler alert, all that stuff. You know, there were a couple of little things that they missed. Let's just get the couple of bad things out of the way and then we can talk about the good things. One of the bad things in this was the pilot dude who was initially taking the message. The moment where he had that octopus latch onto his head and like try to read his mind. Well, it did read his mind. And what's his face, Saul, whatever his name was, says the side effect of this is it makes you crazy. It can send you mad. And you think, oh, that's going to pay off later on. This guy's mind is going to snap. Nope, doesn't at all. He's just totally fine. He's a little bit weirded out when they first meet him, but after that, he's okay. I thought that was a setup that his mind is going to snap at a critical point later in the story and ruin everything. But no, it wasn't. So I don't know why he mentioned that because it didn't seem to affect anything. Also, the subplot of the sorry everyone, I'll put the name up on the screen of this guy who was kind of like one of the architects of building the Death Star, and he kept getting cheated. Like Grand Moff Tarkin is like, I'm gonna take all the credit, and then he goes to Vader and he's like, you gonna help me out, maybe mention to the Emperor, and he's like, no, but I'm gonna force choke you. This poor guy, he's the dude who like really sort of put together the team and sort of overseed the whole building of it, and he totally got shafted. Everyone else just took all the credit. So what I thought was they were setting up with him was at the end where he intercepted Jyn Erso was going to stop before she had sent the transmission, and she's like, oh, it's too late, I'm going to send the signal, you're done, it's all over. I thought he was going to flip and actually let her send the signal, because I thought what they were setting up for was him. He's going to be like, well, if I'm not going to get the credit for the Death Star, if all the credit's going to go to Tarkin, I'm going to let it get blown up. Tarkin will get the blame, Vader will get the blame, and then if the Emperor wants to build another one, only person left who can do that is me. So the Emperor is going to have to come back to me, and then they'd set up that maybe he would build the second Death Star that shows up in Return of the Jedi or something like that. That's what I thought they were going for, but they didn't. He just got killed on the planet with everybody else. So yeah, his was an awkward character. Maybe there's more to his story that I didn't notice, but he just seemed to be like a ping pong ball getting bounced around the different characters and that nobody even appreciated him. Even Mads Mikkelsen's character didn't even really respect him or anything like that. So yeah, his character was a little out of place. But apart from those two bad things, everything else was good about this. Everything else was good. I really liked the main character who was sent in there to take out Mads Mikkelsen, the Erso father guy, and then of course he didn't because he saw he was actually kind of a good guy at the end. But I love the complexity of his character, especially that bit at the beginning where the spy is like, oh, we're screwed now, I can't climb out of here, and he's like, yeah, you can't, and he just shoots him because obviously if that guy gets captured, he's already rattled, he's just going to spill all the beans. So if he's not going to get away, you got to make sure he doesn't get captured. So he just shot the guy, and it was really, yeah, it really shows like to run a rebel alliance, sure, you might be fighting for the good guys, but in order to get stuff done, you kind of got to get your hands dirty, and he certainly did. So I really liked his character. I thought he was interesting, he was very complex, and that moment where Jyn Erso is kind of like yelling at him and is like, you came here to kill my father, blah blah blah, and he just totally puts her back in his place, and he's like, you think you're the only one who lost everything? Shut up, you need to sit down. That was great. I really loved that. I was very surprised to see Bail Organa there. I had no idea he was going to be in this movie, but it was fantastic to see him. When he first shows up, how he just sort of silently walks up and just stands there. I thought, did they just like digitally insert him there? Because it seemed weird the way he walked up. But then later on, of course, he had those lines where he's like, I'll make sure that Leia gets the plans. I'll trust Leia with my life. That was fantastic. I love how they connected all that. But that also now does show that any hope that we might have had that they're going to redo the prequels, nope, it's locked in. Because he was Bail Organa for the prequels. Now it's connected. They're canon. That's fine. I think the fan service went a little bit too far with that guy who's like, you just watch yourself. I have a death sentence on 12 systems. Like when he bumped into them. That was a funny moment, but it felt a little bit too much. And like, again, it was fun seeing like Red Leader and Gold Leader in the big space battle at the end. But again, maybe a little too much fan service, but who cares, right? Who cares? And I absolutely love that they finally explained what we all like to complain about and make fun of with the Death Star is, why did they build this giant planet-killing device with such an obvious vulnerability that could be exploited? Well, now we know. It was deliberate. That was not just stupid planning that was deliberately made that way because the scientists making it were being coerced into doing it, so they gave it a vulnerability so it could be taken out. Why there was a vulnerability on the second one, I guess, is still open for ridicule. And being able to see that scene where Vader just ignites his lightsaber and just goes to town, just ripping people apart, that was fantastic. Finally, because we got a bit of that in Empire, and then in Return of the Jedi, he was still menacing, but we never really got to see like full extent of his powers. Even in the prequels, when Anakin goes full Vader, he was mostly just killing like Trade Federation guys or little kids, you know. And like, I mean, he killed Dooku, but apart from that, he didn't really take on any Force users and win. So it was good to finally see Vader being like fear-inspiring again. And it was good to see the Force choke brought in. Don't choke on your ambitions, that sort of thing. And I had forgotten that they weren't going to have an opening crawl and the opening like title splash thing that they traditionally do. I'd heard that before, but I forgot about it, so it was a bit jarring at the beginning because I was expecting that. But it makes sense. Anthologies have it different from the scrolling text of the official trilogy that's going on. But yeah, like I said in my non-spoiler review, I really love this. I enjoyed this way more than Force Awakens. And this does, I think Jeremy Jans pointed out, the more you think about it, you see different layers. This does feel like it will be the case with Rogue One. So I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Now, put your thoughts down below what you thought about the movie, because this is the spoiler review. You can talk openly in the comments, because if someone's clicked on the video if they haven't watched it, scrolling through the comments, that's their fault. So thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, I will see you guys in the comments.